Greetings. It's day-oyabunmi. Welcome to another episode of Divine Hacks, where I offer quick tips for spiritual growth and development. Welcome in. Thank you for listening. I hope as you're hearing this, you are uplifted and in the best of spirits. Ashe. So if you're an empath, this video is for you. It's all about you. Today I'm giving some tips for empaths that will really help them along their journey. But before I get started, if you're interested in an Ifa reading, a tarot reading, if you're interested in online courses, trainings, ebooks, Ifa Orisha related trainings, anything like that, head on over to my website, daydreamalston.com. Ashe. Just a heads up, there will be a part 2 to this video. I'm actually going to do a messages from Ori video where I channel divine guidance about this topic, okay? So be on the lookout for that. Okay, guys, so an empath is someone who is highly attuned to the emotions and energy in their environment, right? And empaths may also take on the emotions of others who are near them or emotionally close to them, right? So if you're an empath, you can take on the energy of someone who's in the room with you, or, you could actually take on the energy of someone you're just emotionally close to, like a parent, a sibling, a lover, and things like that, no matter where they are in the world. So I found out I was an empath in 2014 or 2015. And before that, I had heard the word. I didn't do any study of it. I didn't really care too much. I just was like, oh, that sounds like that could be me, but I didn't really pay attention to it. But to be honest, it takes a lot of internal work to be a balanced empath. Because if you think about it, an empath is really like a sponge. If you are an empath, you are literally walking around and taking on so much energy and emotion. You are a sponge for all of the energy and emotion in your environment at any given time. So I want to tell you a quick story about how I found out for sure that I was an empath. Because like I said before that, I was just assuming based on the definition, right, and the different characteristics of an empath, oh, that sounded like me. So I just assumed it was me. But there was a moment in, like I said, 2014 or 2015, where I was at work and I was in an office alone and I was having a really good day. There was nothing going on, nothing in my life that was stressing me out. Everything was peaceful. And in walked a coworker. And me and her hadn't shared a space before. So this was my first time really being in a small space with her and filling her out energetically, so to speak, right? So all of a sudden, I start feeling so scattered, so oppressed, anxious, really heavy. It was so strange. And I went out for lunch and I was with another coworker and I said, man, I was feeling good. And then all of a sudden my energy, got all scattered. I wonder what that's about. So we get back from lunch and once again, I'm in this space with my coworker. And finally, I just spark up a conversation with her. And I don't know what I said, but she starts to, open up and tell me that she's feeling really anxious and overwhelmed. And that the work she's doing is just really, bothersome, and she's really worried. All of the things I had been feeling, that heaviness. So I didn't mention it to her. But I remember when I left that day, I said, oh my goodness, I went home and I journaled about this because it was an eye opener for me. Like I finally knew what was going on, because there would be times where I would be thinking I'm having crazy mood swings. But the mood swing I was experiencing was me picking up on the energetic imprint of someone near me. Okay. There was also another time, again at work, I was in a small space with about 4 or 5 other people. Once again, I knew my own energy, right? And I knew that my own energy was peaceful. But when I entered this space, there was this like heavy oppressive energy. And so I asked around, I said, hey, and this is because we were all really cool. Hey, is everyone okay? Are you guys okay? Because I'm picking up on an energy and it feels really sad. And I'm so sorry if you're going through that. And two people in the room actually admitted that they were just having an off day. They felt like shit. So these were things that really clued me into what I was going through. So since then, I've been really doing the work to be attuned to my own energy, my own emotion, right? To get familiar with my own emotion so that I can identify when I'm picking up the emotions of others. And I wanted to give you some tips just to help you navigate being an empath because it can be pretty tough if you're not aware of it first and then if you're imbalanced, okay? So the number one tip is spend time alone. You need to do this to become familiar with your own energy and emotions. So remember, I said I knew something was wrong, right? I knew it wasn't natural that I could go from feeling super peaceful to all of a sudden anxious and unhappy. But I had to spend enough time alone to be able to recognize my own emotions. Meditation can help with this as well. I wasn't meditating then, but just spending time in isolation, solitude, really helps because you get to know your own energy, apart from everyone else's. Another tip is develop a cleansing ritual. If you are an empath, and like I said, you are a sponge and you're soaking up and sucking up every bit of energy and emotion around you at any given time, it's really helpful that you have some type of ritualistic cleansing practice. So if you like to do your spiritual cleansings with water, create a spiritual bath. If you prefer like smoke, get some sage, some Palo Santo. Some people like Florida water. Some people can just say a prayer over themselves. You can go outside into the air and take a wind bath, For me personally, anytime there's water running over your body, you can use that as a spiritual bath. That could be a shower, right? And just praying and calling on the shower to cleanse you physically and energetically so that you're not holding on to things that you've picked up throughout the day. But decide on what your cleansing ritual is going to be and then make that a consistent practice because you are going to need it. Number 3, test your abilities. So you notice I said that when I was in these spaces, I would either spark up a conversation or straight out ask the question. You want to get to a place where when you're with people and it's safe to do so, and you're feeling that, right? You feel like, oh, wait a minute. That's a new emotion. That's a new feeling. I wasn't feeling like that. You want to stop and check in with the people near you. You can be in a house and someone upstairs can be feeling something and you would be able to feel it. So you want to check in with the people around you. This is a way for you to test your abilities because you may find that someone around you is struggling, right? Is having an emotionally troublesome day and you're picking up on that energy. But the thing is to connect with people, to ask around. And if you don't feel comfortable asking straight out, do what I did in that scenario where I just sparked up a conversation. And I don't know how I did it and how it came out, but it naturally just came out. Number 4, empaths. This is so important. Cover your head. So cover your head at night. You should be wearing something white on your head at night, a white bandana, a white do-rag, whatever you have, cover your head. At night, while we're sleeping, we're particularly vulnerable. So it's important to cover your head at that time. But also when you're going to be in a group of people, especially people where there's high stress, I suggest covering your head, wearing a head wrap, a hat, putting on a wig cap and putting a wig on your head, honestly, like anything to just cover your head. And if you're in a space where, like the energy is off, again, I suggest covering your head. If you can cover your head with something white, that's always going to be the preference. If not, that's okay, but something white is best. Number 5, spend time in nature. I cannot stress this enough, listeners. When you just step out, right, and disconnect from your phone and disconnect, from screens and all of these things and just be outside, pay attention to the animals, sit near some water if you have a body of water. This is particularly helpful for, again, tuning in to your own emotional landscape so that you're able to tell the difference between yours and other people's. Very, very important. Now, some bonus tips. Practice deep breathing. Deep breathing really helps you to get centered and grounded. Again, this helps with you identifying what's your emotions, right? And what are someone else's emotions. Deep breathing is really good. And the last bonus tip is crystals. Get you some crystals. Crystals are great for grounding. I would suggest, as an empath, you pick up some protective stones to deflect energy. Black tourmaline and hematite are really good. Those are 2 black stones that I suggest you pick up. What they do is they just deflect, right? So you'll still feel the energy, but you won't take it on and kind of carry it home with you and then be like, damn, what happened? Okay, I hope this has been helpful for you. Thank you so much for listening. I'm doing a part 2 to this message in the messages from Ori, where I channel divine guidance from collective consciousness. I'm going to channel through the tarot and pick up messages about empaths and what we need to be mindful of. So please check out that video, okay? And I'll talk to you next time. Take care. Bye.